And welcome back to Sports on Tap, part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network. It's our Ohio high school football coverage. We're covering the Southwestern Conference. I'm Rob Trump. We have Ed Dick, Sean Duffy, and Josh Jeffy here. And for all of our coverage, you can go to neosportsinsiders.com, where you can view articles, videos, and much, much more on
See
there.
the awesome pictures that Josh takes from the sideline?
That's actually on
It's
our
almost
Facebook
like he's
page.
out there watching.
Josh gets into it, man.
Like,
I'm into it.
No, I know.
He's only gotten taken out a few times so far.
That's all right.
But he gets great pictures, and that's
Sports
what
on
counts.
tap. Game on.
Booyah. All right, let's get into the Southwestern Conference. It's our Week 3 recap here. Let's start off in Avon, where North Olmsted traveled to Avon. And last year, if you remember, they went to 3 overtimes. This year, Avon scored early and often. Avon right away jumped out to a 7-0 lead thanks to a 6-yard run from Mason McLemore. That was followed by quarterback Matt Kelly on a 53-yard touchdown pass to wide receiver Mitch Cooper. They took an early 14-0 lead. Then the Avon Eagles defense, they stepped up, contributing on a 60-yard interception return for a touchdown by Cole Morris. Avon took a 21-3 lead over North Olmsted at this point in the game. Then Avon went into half with a 42-3 lead, and they would win big, 45-10. I skipped over some there because it was a blowout here at 45-10. North Olmsted's points were scored by kicker Garrett Fess. Ed, I know you'd be proud of the kicker, obviously kicking a nice field goal, a 34-yarder, and a touchdown scored by quarterback Brandon Maximovich as he connected with Sean Elbin for a 12-yard score in the end zone. Again, the final score, 45-10. Avon wins big. Avon improves to 3-0. They travel to rival Midview, who is also 3-0.
That's going to be a great game.
And North Olmsted 1-2 now. They take on Lakewood. Some stats. Avon senior quarterback Matt Kelly went 9 of 13 for 182 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 1 interception. For North Olmsted, quarterback Brandon Maximovich, 12 of 23 for 96 yards, 1 touchdown. He had 3 interceptions on the day. All right, let's head to Amherst Steel, where they took on the Midview Middies. And senior running back Alex Forrest started the scoring off with a 1-yard touchdown run early in the first quarter. That was followed by senior quarterback Dustin Krubb as he scrambled for a 22-yard touchdown run in the second quarter to extend the lead to 14-0 at this point. Amherst added a field goal, but Crum came right back and took a 1-yard plunge into the end zone to make it 21-3. At halftime, the Comets, though, they came right back, 54 yards in 5 plays to open the second half. It was Kennedy Scagliazzo as he scored on a 40-yard swing pass from quarterback Johnny Makovich, and a 2-point conversion run did fail. It was 21-9 at this point, and Amherst trying to get back in it. But then Alex Four rushed for 52 yards in the Middies' 69-yard drive that put the game away. He scored on a 3-yard run. Wide receiver Keith Johnson, he had a 24-yard touchdown reception late into the third before Amherst running back Jeremy Smith closed the scoring with a 4-yard run midway through the fourth. But that wasn't enough as Midview goes on the road to defeat Amherst 34-15. Dustin Crum was 16 of 24 for 261 yards and a touchdown. He also rushed for 71 yards in the game. Wide receiver Keith Johnson caught 7 passes for 171 yards.
Nice.
And a running back, Alec Four, rushed 13 times for 100 yards. Amherst, Johnny Matkovich, the quarterback, 11 of 24 for 149 yards. Running back Kennedy Scagliazzo, 20 rushes, 123 yards. Midview, 3-0 now, hosts Avon at 3-0. And Amherst, 0-3 on the year. They host Berea Mid-Park. And we'll get to their game in a little bit. Now we head to Lakewood, where Olmsted Falls took on the Lakewood Rangers. And Olmsted Falls scored first with their running back, Andrew Tursky, running it in from 19 yards out to take a 7-0 lead. And that's how it would end in the first quarter, 7-0 Olmsted Falls. In the second quarter, though, Lakewood responded with a 30-yard pass from quarterback Austin Mahar to junior wide receiver Davon Hannibal. Then it went back and forth with Olmsted Falls leading 21-20 at half. We moved to the third quarter, and in the fourth quarter as well, they were dominated by Olmsted Falls as running back Spencer Linville had 3 rushing touchdowns of 28 yards, 2 yards, and 8 yards. The Bulldogs win big, 43-20. Olmsted Falls improves to 2-1 rather, as they travel to North Ridgeville. And Lakewood at 0-3, they take on Avon Lake coming up. My spotlight game of the week was Avon Lake taking on Westlake. And Westlake, they got a nice stadium, new turf down there, unveiling there, and Avon Lake wanted to spoil the fun. And they started off with Tyler Nelson on a 12-yard run. It was 7-0 at that point. But Westlake then would respond. Connor Sterneckert on a 35-yard pass from Trey Bialawis. The kick was good. Afterwards, it's 7-7. Then Avon Lake, Tyler Nelson, he wasn't done. He had a 1-yard run here. The kick was good after. It's 14-7. But then Westlake, Terrence Rose, the wide receiver, he's been involved with the Westlake offense a lot this year. He's a dangerous kickoff returner, 86 yards on a kickoff return. It was 14-14 after one quarter. Then it was all Avon Lake in the second quarter as Tyler Nelson had a 54-yard run. The kick failed, and that was followed up by Carson Toy on a 5-yard pass from Mark Pappas. It was 28-14 Shorman at half. Avon Lake started where they left off in the first half, though. Carson Toy on a 72-yard pass from Mark Pappas. The kick failed. It was 34-14. But Westlake wouldn't give up in this one as Terrence Rose caught an 18-yard pass from Trey Bialawis. The kick after was good. It was 34-21. Then Westlake again comes right back. Kadar Robinson on a 1-yard run. The kick after was good by Brizes. It was 34-28 at this point. Avon Lake, though, finally got a score to stop Westlake. Sandy Bishop, a 12-yard pass from Mark Pappas. And then they went for 2, and it was good, 42-28. Westlake, though, they would not end there. Kadar Robinson on a 33-yard pass from Trey Bialawis. It was 42-35, but Westlake could get no closer as Avon Lake survives at Westlake 42-35. Avon Lake improves to 2-1 on the year. Westlake falls to 2-1. And some stats in the game. Quarterback Trey Bialawis, he had 198 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. He had 2 interceptions as well, but he rushed 13 times for 40 yards. And wide receiver Connor Sterneckert, 5 for 73 yards on the day. For Avon Lake, it was quarterback Mark Pappas, 16 of 25 for 265 yards and 3 touchdowns. And running back Tyler Nelson, 21 rushes, 144 yards and 3 touchdowns. Avon Lake, again, improves to 2-1. They host 0-3 Lakewood. Westlake 2-1 on the year. They host 1-2 North Olmsted. And, my game of the week was obviously North Ridgeville and Berea Mid-Park, which we'll cover coming up in later in the show. We'll go over all of that, but that was an absolute great game. My spotlight game, though, for Week 4 has got to be Avon at 3-0, 2-0 in conference, at Midview 3-0, 2-0 in conference. That's always just that rivalry game, that you can't pass up. That's going to be a high-scoring affair. I think if it's a defensive battle, I'd be surprised. But those are two teams with really good quarterbacks, and just the coaching's impressive. And it's going to be a really tough game.
Ever since those two teams joined the Southwestern Conference, they've just really run roughshod over it. I mean, they were holdovers from the old West Shore Conference, and they obviously dominated that conference pretty efficiently. And when they made the step up to a conference that has a little bit more established programs, you got Berea and Mid-Park before they combined. Rushville Broadview Heights was in there at one point. Both Olmsted Falls, North Olmsted. Avon Lake. I mean, those are your dominant teams, and those two teams have kind of just come in and taken it by storm. And for them to be battling this early, that's an old West Shore Conference rivalry. They're really going to be able to put themselves on pace here. Whoever gets that win is going to pick up a lot of computer points, and because either way, these two teams are going to win some games this year in the Southwest Conference. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish 1-2. This is a type of conference that does beat each other up pretty efficiently, though. I mean, when you play your entire schedule except for one game against the same teams, you're going to see some parity there. But Midview's been on the run lately, so we'll see what they can do. Dustin Crum is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
There's nothing more you can say about him, and Midview's had a really good run of quarterbacks lately with Dustin Crum and Cody Calloway. The last 4 or 5 years they've had Division I talent quarterbacking for him.
Yeah, and I think with Cody Calloway, he had a strong arm, kind of the same way here. And Dustin Crum has a solid arm, but he can run. And Callaway somewhat ran. They're both pocket passers, but if they have to run, they can. And I think that showed with Dustin Crum. My player of the game, or player MVP rather, it's tough between Mark Pappas. They're both in Avon Lake. 16 of 25 for 265 and 3 touchdowns. Our running back, Tyler Nelson, he had 21 for 144 and 3 TDs. We'll pick Tyler Nelson of Avon Lake, the running back. He started off the game with 2 touchdowns for Avon Lake that really, I think, kind of set the tone with the Avon Lake offenses. They really couldn't be stopped offensively. He rushed for 21 times, 144 yards and 3 touchdowns. My player MVP goes to Avon Lake running back Tyler Nelson. Congratulations. We'll ship out some chocolate milk right to you. Any last thoughts?
I got to say that Westlake Avon Lake game was a lot of fun to follow. We were on the field at Bremen Park in North Ridgeville, and we kept checking the scores to see. And we just kept seeing, Westlake was down a little bit, and then they started coming back. We're like, oh, this could be, another one of those Westlake comebacks. And unfortunately, Avon Lake was able to spoil that new unveiling of that stadium down there in Westlake. But that was an interesting game to follow as we were walking up and down the sidelines on Finney Stadium.
Trestle Field, I think they call it now.
Yeah.
The Finney Stadium. But yeah, I remember Rob commenting to me that he was really impressed that that game was so close because Westlake had been playing really, really well in their first 2 games, and I made the comment that I think Westlake may be a team that no one wants to play with the momentum, but Avon Lake showed up and got a hard-fought victory.
And that's the thing. Who knows what can happen in the Southwestern Conference? Like you said, Avon Lake is much improved this year. Westlake much improved. Some of the guys that might have been at the bottom of the conference last year. We're still good last year, but this year it seems like offensively it's going to be an interesting show in conference, especially with Avon Midview. Whoever wins that, whoever loses that has some work to do. So we'll step away. We'll take a short break. When we come back, it's the Suburban League.
Hey-o.
The American and National Division with Sean Duffy and Ed Dick. And, don't forget, the Buckeye Bucks.
Yes,
we'll
sir.
be covering them with Sean Duffy. All coming up. We're Sports on Tap, part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network. It's our Ohio High School football coverage. Thanks for listening. We're coming right back.